So today, folks, I am in Mayfield Heights, which is a younger town in Ohio, but they got some nice stuff, I think. Take a little walk. I wanted to show you the flowers that they have on the electric poles here, which are really pretty. At least I think they're pretty. And I'll be going around to show you the courthouse here in a little bit. You can see it's mostly stores and industry. I know Mars Electric is in this town. I'm not sure where though. I don't know if we'll see that or not, but a great person works at Mars Electric. My son works there, so no prejudice there, huh? And we're coming up on a little cannon, so I'll show you that here. Looks like the flowers is the main thing on the electric poles, and there's a little garden here. So I'm wondering if that's, I saw a thing about park entrance. I wonder if this little tiny circle here with the cannon, and there's a bell, which I'll show you, but you can see the cannon right now. And then there's the bell and flowers going around. It's really pretty. It's, I guess, a memorial. Let's see what it's all about here. On the flag, which is at half-mast, I'm not totally sure, maybe it's always at half-mast. In memoriam, this tablet is a tribute to in honor of those who service the Mayfield Heights Police Department, will always be remembered. And then they have in honor of those of Mayfield Heights who served in World War II, the Korean War, the Grenada War, Panama War, Middle East War, Iraq War, Vietnam War, and World War II, some more. I don't see any World War I vets. Maybe they didn't have any. As I said, it is a younger town. And then on this rock over here, they have, in memory of the deceased soldiers and sailors of Mayfield Heights. God rest all their souls. And I will be showing you at least the courthouse and some other stuff here shortly. So this is the front of the courthouse. I'm going to just walk. It's a rather long building, actually. So I'm just going to walk along here. Up top they have wind vane and the steeple type thing. So as you can tell, it's younger, but it's probably one of the older buildings in Mayfield Heights here. But I thought it was a pretty building. And then so the fire department is there. We'll get to see some fire engines, which I think is cool too. I love the fire engines as long as they don't have to be attending to an emergency. And more, there's more weather vanes and steeples. So I guess the fire department actually is attached to the courthouse. As I say, you can see how long this building is, with the garage in the middle, but it's attached. So let's see. So I said, I'm just going to walk the whole building for you. You can see the landscaping, and they also have the public service department for Mayfield Heights all in one. And then there's some stores up here which aren't attached. Okay, I thought the stores might have been attached, but they're not. Right, and I'll show you across the street here in a second about what I was saying. It's like a lot of stores and no, it isn't detached. There's a slight opening between the two, between the well, I don't know. Well, no, it's not really attached, but there's a tailor shop there. You don't see many, at least I don't see many tailor shops anymore. That's really cool. And then, as I said, across the street you got various stores and whatnot. I'm gonna walk a little bit. Hopefully I find some other cool stuff to show you. So up here, I didn't notice when I was walking the other way, but up here there is a really cool clock, which I'll show you. And then when I cross the street, there's a building. Well, I might be able to show you when I get up closer to the clock. There is a building, U.S. Bank, and then a building next to it, which I think is kind of neat, the architecture and that. But there's the clock. I don't know why I just like these types of clocks. And then across the street are and then there goes the truck. The buildings I was telling you about that I think are kind of neat. The U.S. Bank, and doesn't tell you what the other thing is, just has the address. Oh, I guess there is a sign. I'd have to be a little closer to see it though. But you can't really. There's several things listed, so I'm not sure what that is. So across the street is the Mayfield Pet Hospital, which I also think is a neat building. And there's more of the U.S. Bank. As I said, they're younger, but they got some really nice buildings too, architecturally wise, in the Mayfield Heights. So most of Mayfield Heights is industry and stores. Coming up on the Smoothie King here. Never tried Smoothie King. Of course, I don't drink many smoothies outside of what I make at home. And they got Firehouse Subs, Music and Arts. That might be a cool store. I do like music. But as I said, as you can tell, it's mostly industry and stores. I'm sure I'll show you some other stuff. As I said, mostly of what I can show you though is stores. I'm coming up on Zoom Car Wash, which I don't know why. I think the colorations of the building is really cool. I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, but that's okay if you don't. But as I said, I like the colors of this building here, Zoom's Car Wash. And even the Men's Warehouse I think is kind of cool. Sorry about the fire person, but God be with him and whatever the emergency is. And across the street, the Citizens Bank has some pretty flowers, and not totally sure. Yeah, this isn't where. Every so often there's benches that you can sit on and rest. I thought this was it, but not. But it made sense for Midas to have some where people can just wait out here for their car when it's being serviced. But it must be, actually I see it up here at the Sherwin-Williams and Aspen Dental. They have the bench, and I'm going to sit down and we'll end it there, because basically I'm just walking back up the road to get to my car. As I said, Mayfield Heights is mostly just stores and businesses, industry. There's a medical area where I went to the eye doctor. That's why I'm here. So as I said, it's a younger town, but there's still some really cool things. And if shopping's your thing, you can certainly come here. If you go and see some of the more historical areas, which if you run the town playlist, you'll certainly see a lot of the more historical towns in northeastern Ohio, also western Ohio, northwest Ohio. So that's mostly the towns that I've done have been in those areas. I'll be getting you some more eventually here. As I said, I'm going to take a little break here at the benches, and you can see how it's nicely maintained and taken care of. So, as I said, oh boy, we can watch some traffic. As I end this, I want to say whether you need a cane, which is what I use today, a walker, which I will be using at times, wheelchair, whatever type of assistive device you need to make your life better and live it to its fullest and do what you want to do. It's not making you handicapped, it's making you handy capable. Thank you all for watching the whole video. I appreciate it, and God bless.